said once your soul has decided to take its exit point and to leave, you'll actually leave your body just moments before the final death event. So for example, he said, if you were to die in a car accident, you would actually leave your body just moments before the impact. And you wouldn't feel the crash, and you wouldn't feel any pain. You'd be hovering outside your body, watching the final moments as though you were watching a movie. And at that stage, you would then finally appreciate that the body that you were living in through this incarnation was just a shell, and it was time to discard the shell and move on. He said then, you'll be taken by your hand by your spirit guides and led over to the spirit side. And there you'll be met by a wonderful welcoming party. This welcoming party will be your parents and your grandparents and all the relatives that have passed over before, and even your pets. And this welcoming party will give you a very big, warm, embracing, love-filled hug and make you feel very comfortable and glad that you're at home. He said it'll be a very uplifting and exhilarating experience, and you'll realize then that you are truly home and you're glad to be back there. So this even gave me some more comfort. And I said, well, Albert, are we doing for time, okay? Yeah. I said, Albert, tell me this. Now that I'm back on the spirit side, I have this question. When I was growing up, I was told that heaven was this wonderful place where I could sit in the presence of God forever. But they didn't really explain what happened in heaven. And I can remember watching movies, and Hollywood would depict heaven as a place where people would sit on fluffy white clouds and listen to angels play harps. And I said, Albert, that sounds okay, but maybe I'd get a little bored with listening to harp music, So he says, well, there's lots of exciting things to do in the spirit side. He says it's a wonderful and challenging place to live. He said souls can engage in all kinds of activities, many the same that you could on earth and many ones you've never even imagined. You can do recreational activities, you can do sporting events, you can go to concerts and lectures, you can go to our libraries and study books or watch videos. You can take on projects on the spirit side, like helping new souls who come over from Earth with their transitions. You can volunteer to be a spirit guide. You can help people with their life plans. And if you want, you can just take a stroll on a beautiful beach or a walk through a wonderful forest. Or you can just sit on a park bench and just enjoy yourself. He said there's no such thing as boredom on the spirit side. He said all souls really have a yearning to learn, to acquire knowledge, and experience things. And one of the Hello? Me? I think Albert's trying to keep me quiet. One of the best things about being on the spirit side is that, of course, you don't have a physical body. So you're like a being of energy. So you don't have to eat, you don't have to drink, you don't have to breathe, you don't procreate, you don't have to work if you don't want to. And because you're a being of energy, you can travel all over the universe and explore the universe as a spirit. And the universe is very vast. I mean, it's got millions and millions of planets, and it's got many millions of different kinds of life forms. So you can explore these and learn all about the universe. And if you really want a challenge, you can decide to incarnate into a physical body on one of the denser planes, like Earth. And there's many, many to choose from, because there's millions and millions of planets and all kinds of different life forms. And after having explored it as a spirit, you can decide which one do I want. And of course, you can incarnate on Earth. And he said, when you come to Earth, you can become a rock, you can become a plant, an animal or a human, your choice. And you can incarnate here as many times as you like, and you can stop incarnating whenever you want. No one forces you to come here, and no one forces you to stay. So when I heard what he said about animals, I said, well, so Albert, does that mean that animals have souls? And he said to me, you need only look into the eyes of your little dog to find your answer. Which I did. And she does have a soul. Someone once said that our eyes are the windows into the soul, and I think that's very true. Are we still okay for time?
I explained what the title means.
Oh, okay.
Then we'll go to questions.
I'll just say one more thing, and then I'll get to the title. Yeah. So, this all sounded very wonderful, and I said, so what is the end game? What are we trying to accomplish? Is there ever a finish to it? I mean, where do we end up? And he said, no. He said, journey. You're on a journey that never ends. You're on a path of evolution with no finish. Now that's a bit mind-boggling, I guess. But he said, you know, you're a spirit in the universe. The universe is infinitely vast, and the universe is always changing. And even though you have an eternity to explore the universe, because it's so vast and it's always changing, you're never going to see it all. So you're constantly exploring, you're constantly evolving, and you're having a great time while you're doing it. So then, because I had a trouble look in my face, he said, let me give you a few words of advice. He said, you take things too seriously. You need to lighten up. And you have to remember every day that even though life on earth can be very difficult, you have to know that no matter what you do, you can't go wrong or become lost. You're always going to end up on the spirit side. He told me, I need to smile more. I need to laugh even more often, because laughter will bring joy to my heart and to everyone around me. And he said, above all, you have to remember to relax and enjoy your journey. So let me tell you before we get into the Q&A, let me tell you where the title came from. Should I spoil the surprise for them, do you think? Oh, okay. All right. The reason for the title is in the last chapter of my book, so I'm afraid I'm going to spoil it for you. The title came from Albert, but it didn't come, he didn't say this is going to be the title for your book. He was chiding me one day for what was happening in my life. He didn't give me personal advice very often, but he said to me, you know, one of the problems you have in your life is that you spend too much time dancing on a stamp. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And he said, well, you're standing in one spot. You've got this whole big, beautiful world to explore and to dance around in, and yet you're standing on one spot, and you're not getting out there and exploring your whole world. So that phrase stuck in my mind, and I didn't think it would be the title of my book at the time, but when I finished my manuscript and I was searching for a title, this phrase kept on popping in my mind, dancing on a stamp. So I said to Albert, what do you think of that for a title? And he said, that's perfect, let's go with it. So that's where the title came from. Okay, I see I'm getting Vitaly is about to get up and hit the gong here, so I think we can go into Q&A. So, questions from anyone? I think that they'd like you to come up to the mic if you could, so everyone can hear you.
I have a question. I'm wondering, since you finished the book, do you still have conversations with Albert? Are you still in communication with him?
Yes, I am. I don't do so on a daily basis because he doesn't give me personal advice, and I feel like I don't want to bother him unless I have something important to ask him. And so I do still stay in contact with him, and I'm in the process of writing my second book.
I was just going to ask you.
And so I'm going to be in more regular contact with Albert as I do my second book. I'm not quite sure where Albert's going to take me on the second book, but I'll just go where it goes, you know.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
I have a question about soul evolution. If we are here to evolve, our souls are here to evolve, why are we then destroying the planet, and what's the spiritual perspective for that?
Well, we're harsh on our planet for sure. I mean, everyone knows that. And that's just because when we're here, we don't remember about the spirit side, we don't remember what's in our life plans, and we have free will. And sometimes our free will just runs amok, you know, and that means we can cause harm to other people, to creatures, and to our planet. And so the reason we're causing so much damage to our planet is because not so many of us are really hearing our messages from our spirit guides about what we should be doing. And so we're ignoring those messages, and we're just following what our mind wants to do, and that often leads to really bad problems. And that's why we're doing what we are doing to the earth.
Will it get to a point where we can destroy it, and then what will happen to the souls?
Well, I guess potentially we can. I think Dolores has a better answer for that than I do, because I didn't ask Albert that question. But there's a lot of people on the spirit side working very hard to try to ensure that we don't destroy our planet. And hopefully that works. And if you read Dolores's book, 3 Waves of Volunteers, I don't know if you have or not. Anyway, it's a great book. And Dolores documents how in the last 40 or 50 years there's been some 3 waves of volunteers from the spirit side coming into Earth solely for the purpose of trying to help us make the shift and stop us from damaging our planet. And I'm confident it's going to work. I mean, it may take a while, but you got to have faith.
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hello. I hope that Albert addressed this. When there are children born to abusive parents or somebody else in the family that they're close to, when they then get passed on and go to the spirit world, are they still happy to see them? Is that usually part of the plan?
Oh yeah, you know, in situations like that where you'd think that there would be a lot of anger and animosity and resentment, that's just because we're humans and we think with our human minds. When those people all pass to the spirit side, they'll be back together, just like old friends, because they're probably part of the same soul group. And we often travel together in soul groups. And so in one life, you know, you're the mother, in the next life you're the child, next life you're the sister, and you sort of trade off lives with the other souls. But when you get back to the spirit side, you'll realize that you were all on earth just to learn and experience, and that nothing that happens on earth is for keeps. So you don't have any hate or animosity or any regrets for what you did on earth, because you realize you were there to learn and experience. And even if you made mistakes, everyone on the spirit side recognizes that. And so it's just part of the game plan. And yeah, they will be back together, walking hand in hand through the park.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else? I should tell you a little, we have a couple minutes to be, or are we done? Just one little short story, a little funny story, a little aside from writing my book. When I'd finished my manuscript, I said to Albert, okay, I've written your book as you asked. Now I need to find a publisher. So tell me, who should I send my manuscript to? And Albert said, well, it's not going to be that easy. I'm not going to make it easy for you. You're going to have to go through and do your research. You're going to have to send out a bunch of proposals and manuscripts. You're going to have to do it the regular way, because I'm not going to make it easy for you. But what he did say was, which is sort of stuck in my mind, is that he said, the publisher who will choose to publish your book will have someone who works for them who is a tall and skinny man. And before I got here 2 days ago, I had never met anybody on the Ozark Mountain staff. But now I'm here, and Vitaly, you're the tall and skinny man. Stand up and take a bow. Thank you, Vitaly. Any other questions?
Are you still a lawyer?
No, thank God. No, I actually retired. I met Albert in 2007. I retired a year later because I knew that I would never write a book if I was still practicing law, because my mind was too full of stuff and I'm stressed out and no energy and that sort of thing. So he was sort of an excuse for me to retire early, which I did, and I'm glad, and I'm happy to be a non-lawyer.
So you're able to make a living then?
Yeah. Anything else? I think we're done. Thank you very much, everyone.